Good afternoon, welcome to the UK Column News. It is the 17th of December 2014 and it's just gone 1 o'clock. Myself, Louise Collins, Brian Gerrish and Nick are here in Plymouth, and we have a guest sitting in with us today, and it's the one and only Alex
It's easy
G.
to be cynical doing what we're doing. So, with the police in mind, let's have a look at this story produced by The Express. Falkirk MP Eric Joyce denies assault charges. So a pretty heavy upfront headline. And it says that Eric Joyce has been charged with 2 counts of common assault and 1 count of criminal damage in connection with an incident in a London shop. Now, I'll add a bit on screen in just a second, but essentially the MP says that something happened in the shop, and he is the one that actually took the right action as a member of the public with regard to a young man.
Right.
But the young man later complains as to what the MP did, and the MP says, well, the next minute I'm being questioned by the police and told that because of my identity, the Crown Prosecution Service and the Metropolitan Police Press Office would be informed of the incident. And then he says, I understand the Metropolitan Police has now made the matter public. So there seems to be, whatever the reality of what happened, and we're waiting to find out, it's very interesting to see the Met Police rushing to publicise that, because in a minute we're going to be talking about Ben Fellows, the child abuse whistleblower. Well, when he was arrested, the police didn't actually want to tell anybody.
No.
So odd, isn't it?
You've
got an MP, they can't wait to get it in the press, but when we've got somebody blowing the whistle on child abuse, well, we want to just get him into the police station as quietly as possible.
And not let anyone know exactly where he is, which we're having problems with at the moment.
Absolutely true. So just bear in mind Mr. Eric Joyce there, and we'll bring you back to another Express article. And this is where they're talking about SNP activist Willie McRae. Again, it's been in the press a little bit over the past couple of weeks. Now, the article is saying that the evidence is building that this man was killed because he was closing in on paedophile rings. But the important thing is that this man was talking about paedophile rings within the Scottish judiciary. So the article's got a quote from a friend who's saying, Willie told me perhaps 2 or 3 years before his death that he'd come across information on this paedophile ring in the Scottish judiciary. He was appalled by it. He was aware of sexual abuse going on. There was no doubt about that. Now, this man was then found dead in a car. 2 shots had been fired, but it was apparently suicide. We just picked up on this, which is a Scottish academic, Alan Draper. I believe this man is a university professor specialising in ethics, and he was helping the Roman Catholic Church on issues to do with child abuse. But note what he says. He says, we need a judge-led inquiry with statutory powers looking at who did what and why it was covered up by all institutions. That's not my grammatical error there. Governments throughout the UK are anxious about what will be revealed because it's pretty clear there have been cover-ups. I'm going to say we could be very cynical here and say, why would you want a judge-led inquiry into a paedophile ring, which we're going to say we know penetrates the judiciary in Scotland? Is this man naive? Is he seriously saying, well, the important thing is to get an inquiry going north of the border and the best person to head it is a judge? Or has common sense gone out the window? If the evidence is there historically that judges were implicated, the last person you want is a judge.
Yeah.
And sorry?
Oh, you got more.
Well, I just added to the top of that one. Let's remember the BBC article which we brought in yesterday. Public inquiry planned on historical sex abuse in Scotland. So just maybe the abuse that resulted in the death of this man will be part of that inquiry. Maybe,
or maybe not.
Possibly. So, sorry, there he is, Ben Fellows. And we're going to say it's very interesting because essentially this young man was arrested in secret. So he's been a very outspoken whistleblower on child sex abuse in the establishment at high levels of the political arena. Now, in the Birmingham Mail article here, there was a quote from the Met Police, and it said Benjamin Matthew Fellows was charged on the 15th of December with committing series of acts with the intent to pervert a course of public justice between November 14 and the 14th of December. Now, the key bit here is that when we had spoken to Westminster Police, that was yesterday morning, and we asked for information on their arrest, they didn't really know anything about an arrest. And then they said, well, no, it wasn't the West Midlands Police, it was the Met Police. But here in the Birmingham Mail article, it clearly says that police arrested a 40-year-old man at Birmingham International Airport at 20 to 1 in the morning on behalf of the Metropolitan Police. So we just add here that surprisingly, when we called, they claimed that they hadn't been involved in an arrest,
Yeah.
and then suddenly it changes.
That was Monday night, wasn't it? Yeah, Monday night.
Yes, that was Monday night. And I'll add this bit in as well. So we're still based on the same Birmingham Mail story. So here was that statement again. And what I wanted to highlight is this bit. It says very clearly, committing an act, series of acts with the intent to pervert the course of justice, November the 14th and the 14th of December. Now, what's interestingly is that when we spoke to the Met, they told us that the offences were between the 1st of November and the 1st of December 2012.
Yeah. Just the same as Melanie, isn't it?
Well, that's what we put at the bottom of the screen there.
Oh, okay.
Why are the Met Police confused over the date of the alleged offence? And this is the same as Melanie Shaw, where Nottingham Police mysteriously didn't know what day the arson had taken place. So the police can arrest an MP and bang, it's in the press.
Yeah.
But when you arrest a child abuse whistleblower, it's all very secret, and then they get mixed up over the dates of the offence.
No, can I just point to say, we don't know where Ben is. Reports at first were coming out via his partner Hannah that he was in Wormwood Scrubs. That isn't the case. I've been on the phone to Wormwood Scrubs and Wandsworth. No one will let us know and tell us if he is there. We're also concerned because he flew directly in from Spain. He has no money for phone calls and anything. So I'm just concerned no one send any letters or anything at the moment until we can confirm exactly where Ben is and hopefully get hold of a prison number. So I'm going to write a letter to Wandsworth, to Ben, with his date of birth on, just asking can he forward on his prison number, so then we can get it out to everyone who wants to send Ben their well wishes.
So at the moment we're very concerned for Ben because, of course, Ben had stated publicly on many occasions that he was frightened of the action by Britain's police forces. He'd suffered some intimidating interviews. His family had been intimidated, and I know family members are still very fearful that the police are reacting around Ben Fellows. So if we'll sort of put Ben Fellows just slightly to the side. We're just focusing on the police at the moment and saying how interesting it is that when the Metropolitan Police investigate child abuse issues in relation to people in positions of power, suddenly the people who've come forward to whistleblow are the people who are frightened. Well, we just had to bring up this. Exaro is a very specialised little media outfit which boasts that it runs leading stories that other papers don't cover. They've specialised in child abuse stories. I understand they're a mixture of retired journalists from other big mainstream papers and ex-police officers. But on the 17th of October 2013, they put out this story about Ben Fellows. And in it, they specifically state Exaro was able to prove that the accusations against Clark, that's Mr. Ken Clark, which had gained increasing currency on the internet, was simply wrong. And there was other articles, I believe, in which they said that we were able to help the police ascertain what the truth was. Now, we were stunned to receive a tweet this morning from Exaro News, which is going out to the wider public, saying, "People, Ben Fellows has been charged. He will face trial. No one should be tweeting, publishing anything about supposed guilt or innocence." Now, quite right, he's been charged. But our question is, why is Exaro tweeting instructions about Ben Fellows?
Exactly.
Particularly if Exaro is involved, has been involved in the Ben Fellows case. So it's very, very interesting here. Of course, Ben Fellows has been charged, so that bit is correct, and there are rules apply with reporting. But why is it taking Exaro to speak out specifically to do with Ben Fellows?
It's really interesting.
We did call them, where we simply asked if they would give us a statement on why they'd put out this extraordinary tweet. The young lady who took the call was very polite, very helpful, but no one in Exaro wanted to speak to me.
I mean, there was the case, they put out a story about mistaken identity, that they had heard it was a case of mistaken identity, but who told them it was the mistaken? It was
we don't know.
No, we don't know.
We don't know. So we'll wait and see how that develops. But very interesting situation where we just wonder who exactly Exaro's working for. Well, bigger things, Mr. Putin under
Mr. Putin.
attack.
Now, this is I'm just going to briefly skim over this, and I urge people to go and read the way the Washington Post have worded this article. But they're basically reporting that Russian central bank has raised interest rates from 10.5% to 17% in an attempt to stop the ruble falling any further. And I'm just going to say, the only comment I'm going to give, at the end of this article, they say checkmate, really poking a big stick at Putin. Really, it's a horrible article, but people just go and have a look and